Right, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. So, today I'm doing something a bit different. I'm going to branch out into Photoshop tutorials because I'm not an expert myself. So, I'm hoping that I can document my journey along the way, and if you can pick up any tips and tricks off that, then that's great, and then that way I can learn off you as well. If you have any tips and tricks to help me just speed up the processes and things, because I do take the long ways. So anyway, today's tutorial is just a simple webcam box for your Twitch streams or YouTube streams or anything in general that you stream. A nice clean webcam border that is customized just for you, looks professional, and it makes you stand out so much. Not only the webcam but the whole overlay package, but we're just going to be dealing with the webcam today. So yeah, what you're going to start doing when you open up Photoshop is go to New File, and then this will bring up a new document page. But yeah, I just start on 2440 by 1920 with a resolution of 300. You can go with whatever canvas you like, as long as your webcam will fit that canvas. Once you've done that, click Create. Now, if you're new like me, when you first open this, there's a lot going on. However, a webcam border is very simple, so once you open it, and like I say, if you're new, try not to overcomplicate things like I did. So once you open it, you're going to see along the right side, you're going to see a couple of different panels at the top: color, swatches, gradients, and patterns. We don't need to worry about that just now. What we're going to worry about is the layers panel underneath that. Depending on what Photoshop you use, the layout might be a bit different, but everything's pretty much the same. So yeah, all that's here just now is obviously our blank canvas, which is our background, and it's also locked because it's our first layer. Every first layer, I believe, is locked. So what you're going to do is untick this layer, unlock the layer, sorry, and then you'll see at the side there's an eye. That just toggles the visibility of the layer. If you untick the eye, you'll see, because there's nothing else here, that there's just a grid in the background. So what that means is transparency mode. Put your layer back on just so you've got something to work with. It's okay to work with this in the background, but I prefer just to work with like a solid color, even if it's white. And then underneath this, you got your properties for your canvas, but we don't need to worry about that just now. On the left hand side, you got your toolbox. This is what we're going to be using, or tool line, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to navigate, you can hover over them and it'll bring up like a little description. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the shape tool and rectangle tool. Now, we don't need to worry, we can just click and drag it out. We don't need to worry about the size just now, but you'll see once we click and drag, it fills with a black color, and that's because we've not told the layer that it needs to have no fill, or it needs to be transparent, sorry. So the properties tab that I was talking to before, if you're selected on your rectangle layer, just go down, and on the fill, click on it. You'll see up the top there's 4 boxes. You're going to click the one with a little line, and that just means no fill. Once you've done that, down here, just underneath it, you've got your stroke option. Now this is your border for your box, or your outline for your box, let's say. You can have it whatever color you want, but the first thing I would do is just change the width of it. There we are. So we put the width up a little bit. And as you'll see now, we've got a nice border around it. You can change it here. Your 4 boxes, again, you hover over them and it'll tell you what they are. So you've got solid colors, gradients, or patterns. I like to go with a nice gradient, and then maybe a nice blue. I like a nice blue. There we are. That looks pretty clean. So we can make it look even better. Let's double click on our rectangle on the layers, and this will bring up a layer style for that rectangle. Now what we're going to do is, you can play about with these down the side, but all we really need to do is put a stroke on it. So we're going to go down to stroke, and as you'll see, it puts another stroke around the outside and inside. Now, if you have a gradient on the inside, I wouldn't recommend putting a gradient on the outside. I'd make maybe a solid color just to make it pop out a little bit more. Maybe like a nice black. Yeah, and it makes it look a bit cleaner. You can change the opacity and stuff as well if you like, but I like to keep it 100. Like I say, it just makes it pop a little bit more. Now again, you can go down, you can have a little toggle about all of these. It's based on your own preferences. I'm just showing you the basics here today. Once you've done that, click OK, and then here we go. Our rectangle's here, well, our webcam box. And the last thing we need to do is we just go to the transform panel, and this is where we set the width and height for our box. There we go. So now that you can see it's 1920 by 1080, nice and clean. Back over to our layers panel here, we're going to toggle the visibility for our layer 1, which was our background layer. And now, as you can see, we have a sexy, nice, clean webcam box. Of course, you can go further than this if you like. What I have, for instance, is my webcam box, and I have rectangle here. If you click Control T and transform, and then I go to skew, and I like to skew the rectangles to the side a bit. Oh. So we've done that. We're going to duplicate the layer, drag the layer over, click on it, Control T, right click, and then we're going to flip horizontal. And then that way we don't need to worry about getting the dimensions the same on like the skew end or whatever. So we could just do that. And then what I would do is I would leave these on a solid color in the back. That way when your stream labels go over it, it makes the names pop out. But what I would do is just go back to our rectangle, put the stroke on. Now we're going to go gradient because we just have a solid color here. Rectangle, not rectangle 1, rectangle 2, double click, do the same thing, and there we go. Now once you're happy with everything, again this is just a quick one here, you're going to go to File, Export. You can quick export as PNG or export as. Leave all your things, all your settings the same here, all your things, and then export. Save where you want it to save, and sorted. I'm not going to save it because I have so much junk on my PC already. But if you enjoyed this tutorial today, then please make sure to leave a like, please comment. Like I said, I've got to be making content like this a bit more often, and by no shape or means am I the best or any professional or anything like that. I'm just documenting my journey along the way and hoping you'll enjoy it. So yeah, if you've got any tips for me on how to speed up processes and things as well, just let me know in the comments. And last but not least, please make sure to hit that subscribe button.